Yo, so some people had some problems achieving the slide zoom transition, and I didn't quite direct a tutorial for beginners. So this is gonna be a follow-up video with no cuts or anything, just me doing it again, just so you guys can see the full way that I did it. So I'm just gonna get an adjustment clip, and I have some in my power bin, because they're, if you look closely at them, like some are formatted for 60 FPS, and then some are formatted for different frame rates. I don't know, it just makes playback different. So I'm matching the frame rate with this so it doesn't play fast. But I don't want to confuse you. If you don't know where your adjustment clip is, it's effects library, effects, adjustment clip, and just drag it on. But all right, so we're gonna do the first transition, which is gonna be the slide this way and then the tilt. So let's go to the Fusion page. We're gonna grab a transform node. Then we're gonna move the pivot point. So you look at the transform node, the pivot point's in the middle. It's a little X you see over there. If I move the pivot point, see it goes all the way over here. And that's where the zoom will be centered. But if I reset this and I zoom in, see how it zooms in on the green X? If I move it to the side though, and then zoom in, it's gonna zoom in at that point. It's basically an anchor point if you're from After Effects. So we're gonna do, it's gonna move the pivot point already. Let's move it to the side. I liked it off the screen. We're gonna keyframe the size. So we're gonna keyframe here and then at the end. And at the end we want it to zoom out, so we're gonna zoom out like this. That's fine. And then we're gonna mirror our edges right here. And you should have that. And you're gonna go in your spline. Your spline graph, the size, you can drag this open more, zoom to fit. You're gonna highlight all these keyframes, hit S on your keyboard to smooth them all. So when you smooth it, it looks like that, but we want it to go fast at the end, so we're gonna move this up like that, and we can move it like this. And so you play back, you get this faster motion. I don't think that's a little too fast for me, but maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, something like that. Maybe curve it like that. I don't know. Here we go. All right, then we're gonna go to motion blur settings for here. Motion blur, click these a couple times. If you do the quality higher, it's gonna look better, but it's also gonna take longer to render, and playback is very terrible on it. But that's up to you. All right, so yeah, and then let's do the tilt. We're just gonna take another transform. The reason we take another transform is because the pivot point is stuck in the middle. If we do the angle over here, then it's not gonna look right. Yeah. So let's keyframe the angle here at the start and the end. We want the end, we want it moving towards the opposite direction it's going. So we're gonna angle like that. We're also gonna mirror it. It might look a little weird. And I think we can also do the same kind of curve we did the size. So we're gonna go like this. Right? No, that's all right. Professional. All right. Now let's view what we got. All right, now we're gonna do our second transition. So we're gonna put an adjustment clip in. Again, we're gonna go in the Fusion page. Put our transform on the node graph. Then we're gonna copy the pivot point that we had before, but this time when we keyframe the front and the end. On the first keyframe, we're gonna have it zoomed in instead. And then we're gonna mirror, and then let's fix our spline. Something like that. Let's see. That's all right. Settings, motion blur. Just turn the motion blur off. There we go. All right, then we're gonna do the second transition. So we're gonna put another transform on, and then we're gonna move the pivot point to the other side because we're doing a different transition. We're gonna have it over here, and then we're gonna keyframe the size at the start and the end again. And then at the last keyframe, zoom out. And then mirror. could go to our spline and then have it go out like this at the end. Let's motion blur that too. And then we're gonna do for the tilt. So grab our another transform, keyframe the angle at the start, and then we're gonna keyframe it at the middle, which is flat. And then, I mean, you know, there, and then we're keyframe the end, and then we're gonna match the angle at the first keyframe. So it goes like this, I'm pretty sure. Then the middle is 0, and then it's going the other way, so we're gonna have the angle the other way. We can put motion blur on that if we want, but it's alright. There we go. So what do we got here? If our playback was good, let's see if we can make it better. Yeah, I'll just render it right here. I'll show you. Yeah, so you're just gonna copy that. Basically this just flipped on the other side here, and then I think we just do for the last one, it's just centered. Zoom out. Yeah. All right, I hope this helps.